What's up, guys? Codey Eatherton here, owner of Rapid Response Roofing.
And I'm Justin. I'm the COO of Rapid Response Roofing.
We want to talk about this, right? This is the elephant in the room.
Things that you should look for to know that this isn't a scam, to know that you're dealing with a tried and true company, to know that you're dealing with a real set of folks who are going to take care of you and give you a great product.
What's up, guys? Codey Eatherton here, owner of Rapid Response Roofing.
And I'm Justin. I'm the COO of Rapid Response Roofing. Today, we wanted to talk about contingency agreements, what they are and what they aren't. You got a lot of guys in this industry that utilize this as a tool, not only for their company, but for their homeowners to help them with the insurance company. So I'll pass it over to you, Codey.
Yeah. So contingency agreements. So we want to talk about this, right? This is the elephant in the room at most first interactions when we do the inspection, right? So first things first is we got to establish trust with you as the homeowner. We want you to trust us and feel comfortable with using us. So after we've knocked on your door, we've built some trust with you, you vetted our company, we get up there and we do your inspection, right? Well, now we're going to come down and go over what your next steps may be towards filing a claim for your losses, right? So what we're going to do is we have what we call a contingency agreement, okay? It's literally just that. It's a contingency agreement. It is not a contract. What it is basically it authorizes us to work with your insurance company on your behalf. And it also says that, hey, we're going to put a lot of work into this claim. We're going to do a lot of communication with your insurance company. We're going to do all the legwork for you. And in exchange, we get to be the roofing company that installs the roof for you, right? So in that contingency agreement, we also talk about the deductible. So that way we're very clear on the deductible. That's the one expense that the homeowner is typically responsible for when they file a claim is their deductible. Most times it's, maybe $1,000. $1,000 for a brand new roof is not a bad deal at all. So it's a one-sided piece of paper. There's no fine print. You get a copy, we take a copy. What it does is it protects you against your insurance company. Now you have representation, expert representation for you, right? It also says that, hey, we're going to be the company that does the job for you. And it also authorizes us to speak with your insurance company, like I said. So we will send this to the insurance company on your behalf when we send them all of the evidence for your damages to support the claim. And basically we send all that stuff over and say, hey, they've chosen to work with us. We're representing these guys as the subject matter expert because we're the roofing company. So we're there to give our expert opinion on the roof, right? So that's what a contingency agreement is. It is not a contract. Later on down the road, once the claim gets approved, once the roof's getting ready to be installed and whatnot, then we would choose shingle colors. We would sign an actual contract. We would put together, the dates of the installation and whatnot. So, again, the contingency agreement. Also, let's be clear that the contingency agreement means absolutely nothing if the roof's not approved.
Yep.
So all that means is that it's contingent upon the approval of your roof. So if we do the work to get your roof approved, again, we're the company that gets to install the roof for you, but it's contingent on the approval. So if it's not an approved roof replacement, there is no obligation whatsoever. There's no obligation to get a repair done. There's no obligation to just get one side of your roof done if that's all the insurance company pays for. There's no obligation whatsoever. At that point, we can discuss, what your next steps could be for that, or we could just go our separate ways. There's no obligation whatsoever. But if the insurance company comes back and says, yep, Rapid Response Roofing did a great job submitting all of their evidence to us. They've showed all the damages. They've documented everything real well. We're going to go ahead and pay for the replacement of your roof. Then that just simply states that, hey, we're coming out and we're going to be the guys to do the roof for you. So,
yeah, contingency agreements, I think they get they put a lot of bad taste in people's mouths here and there. A lot of times we'll knock on a door and you'll get that customer that'll say, I'm not signing anything. And that's okay. We can leave you with an estimate and have you deal with the insurance company.
Absolutely.
The reason we have people sign a contingency agreement is so that we get some assurance back and we give assurance to you. The assurance to the homeowner is that we're going to do a great job. We're going to fight your claim for you. We're going to help your adjuster mark up damages the right way. We're going to help the adjuster come to a proper plan for remediation. There's a lot of companies, there's a lot of industries out there that use contingency agreements. It's not just us, it's not just something we invented. You see contingency agreements used a lot by public adjusters. You see contingencies agreements used a lot by real estate agents. A lot of real estate agents will actually have you sign a contingency agreement, electing them as their real estate agent so that they can feed you listings. It's kind of the same thing that we do. Now, let's talk about what the contingency agreement is and what it isn't. Cody mentioned it a few times that the contingency agreement is not a contract. In the state of Michigan, in order for a contract to be binding of any kind, consideration has to be exchanged. In the state of Michigan, the concept of consideration is either collateral or money. In this case, we'd be talking about a down payment or a deposit. Now, if there's none of that exchange, then your contingency agreement is just that. It's an agreement to work. It's the homeowner saying, hey, rapid response roofing is going to help me communicate with my insurance company and provide the data that the insurance company needs to make the decision on not only what is and isn't damaged and how to remediate the property. The contingency agreement isn't just a tool for us, the roofing company. It's a way that we form bonds and agreements with a homeowner that says, hey, at the very least, we get to do the work once it's approved. That's how we protect some of our work and our time. But the big thing that a contingency agreement does for the homeowner, it's a tool. It's a tool for the homeowner. It's a piece of paper that says, hey, I've elected a subject matter expert in the state of Michigan on this process to represent me through this claim. They're going to help determine what is damaged and what the process for remediation is. It's actually a big old warning sign to your insurance company that says, hey, I've come correct. I've got a contractor that I'm working with, and I'm asking you to work with them to get to the bottom of this claim. We can go into the nitty-gritty details maybe in a different episode about what it is we can do and we can't do. The contingency agreement does not give us authorization to look at your policy. We've got no room to do that. We are not even allowed to. But what we can do is communicate to your insurance company on behalf of you, the homeowner, on what is damage and what the remediation is to fix that damage.
Right.
And those are the two big things. Sometimes insurance companies will come out. They send guys, insurance adjusters who are not experts in construction. These guys are experts in policy. They're experts in identifying damage. They're not necessarily experts in writing up a full scope of work for you to have your property remediated or brought back to pre-storm condition. So, in a perfect world, an adjuster is supposed to work with a contractor, meet in the middle, come up with a plan to bring your property back to pre-storm condition. What we're doing with our contingency agreement is we're saying, hey, I've elected rapid response roofing to help my adjuster come to this conclusion or to bring my house back to pre-storm condition. So, just to reiterate some key points, especially some that Cody brought up, that the contingency agreement is not a contract. It's just an agreement to allow us to help you get the services you need and to get the remediation you need for your property after a loss. Really, it's a tool for the homeowner. It also helps us as a small business. The contingency agreement should never say, and be on the lookout for this because there are some companies out there. The contingency agreement should never say, you owe me this amount of money. It'll always say, we will work with your insurance company. We will come to an agreement with your insurance company for what that is. Anything above that or beyond that, if you agree to pay for that out of pocket for some sort of upgrade, that's fine, but that shouldn't be a part of your contingency agreement. That'll be a part of the scope of work and the contract you sign later. The contingency agreement is just the birth of the relationship. The contract, the scope of work, the receipts, all of the paperwork that comes after that doesn't come until we have an agreement with the insurance company. And at that point, if we don't get a full agreement for the insurance company, you don't owe us a dime.
Yeah.
If we don't get a full roof replacement, you don't owe us a dime. In fact, you don't owe us anything. We want to do this for what your insurance company is paying, just like you do with medical care. When you go to your doctor says, okay, we're going to do this for this amount of money. Their compliance people reaches out to your insurance company and they talk about what the costs are going to be. It's the same thing that we are doing. It's no different.
And then you make your small copay, which is your deductible essentially. And then, from there, the claim moves on. So
Yeah, absolutely. So that's contingency agreements in a nutshell. We could probably go into a lot of depth on contingency agreements and what contract law is and what some of the rules are, but that's going to be a show for a different day. Thank you guys for visiting us with the Rapid Response Roofing Podcast. It has been a blessing. If you have any questions over contingency agreements, what they are, how they work, or what you should be looking for if someone approaches you with one, send us an email, reach out to us on Facebook, or give us a call at 269-753-1121. Thank you.